folks, welcome to your next virtual mat class. We're going to do some extra bits and pieces on a foam roller today. If you don't have a roller, it doesn't matter, you'll easily be able to do them on the mat, don't worry about that at all. If you prefer not to use your roller, then that's also fine as well, you can just leave the roller out of it. So nothing major, just some extra bits and pieces on our rollers. If you haven't already rolled yourself out, roll yourself out on your roller. If you have rolled yourself out, you're going to join me lying up on top of your roller. We're going to have our head at one end and our hips at the other end. Just a couple of reminders, be careful of the space that you're in. Make sure that there's nothing around you that you're going to hit yourself on or hurt yourself. Listen to your bodies. If there's something that doesn't feel right for your body today, leave it out. Or if there's something that we work through that you know is not right for your body, then just leave it out. It's literally minutes before we move on to the next exercise. So we're going to climb up on our roller. Again, if you prefer not to lie on your roller today, then feel free just to lie down on your back. Otherwise, you're coming with me. Hips at one end, head on the other end. If you're going down onto your roller, just go down carefully. Use your hands to give yourself a bit of stability. And once you're down there, you're going to just think about your alignment. So we're looking for knees, ankles, second toe, all to be aligned with our hip bones. So we're looking for a nice straight line, hip bone, knee, ankle, and second toe, pretty much. Head, neck, and shoulder alignment. Nice little gap between your chin and your chest. So that should take your gaze straight to the ceiling. If you're sort of looking further down the room, your head is not in neutral. I want you to bring your head up into neutral. Shoulders nice and relaxed. We're going to start by hanging in our goalpost position. So you've got your elbows bent, palms facing to the ceiling, and you should just feel that lovely, lovely opening stretch through the front of your chest. You can take some nice big deep breaths here. Don't want you to overthink the breathing. I just want you to breathe and let the front of your chest stretch. If this doesn't feel good for you, you can have your hands down by your side. Otherwise, you should feel that nice stretch to the front of your chest. If your life's a bit sedentary at the moment, or you're working in an office, you might feel that this all gets a little bit tight. So stretching your pecs out is really important. We're going to change that stretch slightly and we're going to slide our elbows in towards our waistline. So you're just gently keeping the arms bent and tuck the elbows in towards the waistline. So it'll give you a different stretch. If you feel the first stretch is more effective, then feel free to go back to that one instead of this one. Again, a couple of nice big deep breaths. Then you're going to slide your arms in the opposite direction, elbows staying bent, hands coming further up by your ears and over the top of your head. So again, that might be a good stretch for you, or you might prefer one of the other two, or a combination of all three. And again, big deep breaths. We know that breath facilitates our movement. So by breathing, you're going to help your muscles in your body to relax and for your body to move. You're going to float your arms back into your goalpost position, and you're going to bring your hands forwards and you're going to rest them on your rib cage. So middle fingers are touching each other, hands are just resting on the base of your rib cage, and you're going to relax through your shoulders and you're going to just focus on your breathing here now. So some nice big deep breaths, breathing in through your nose if you can, and breathing out through your mouth. Big deep breath in and exhale out. So you can keep breathing for me. You should feel movement in your rib cage. You should feel your ribs expanding. You should feel your middle fingers just gently coming apart as you take those nice big deep breaths. No tension in your head, neck and shoulders. Focusing on breathing into the back of the ribs as much as you're breathing into the front of the ribs. You should feel your ribs just gently pushing into your roller. You're going to do one more breath pattern. Big deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. You're going to leave one hand on your ribs. We're going to press the rest of the other hand on your belly. You're going to breathe with your belly and your diaphragm. You're going to breathe in, allow your belly to lift up underneath your hand, and you're going to breathe out and you'll feel that belly gently dropping back down. So as you breathe in, the belly lifts. As you breathe out, the belly drops. So we know that this movement is created with our diaphragm. The diaphragm lifts and lowers underneath our ribs. It lowers down as your lungs fill up with air. And then it pushes back up and pushes the air, helps to push the air out of your lungs. The movement we're feeling is our organs being pushed around by a diaphragm. It's warming up your abdominal wall and it's massaging those internal organs. 2 more breaths like that. Big deep breath in. Exhale out. Last breath pattern. Big deep breath in through your nose and out through mouth. We're going to bring our arms down by our side and we're going to reach our fingers right down towards our toes. So our arms are long and our shoulders are drawn away from our ears. We're going to do our arm arcs on our rollers. Again, if you prefer, you can roll off of your roller and go onto your mat. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to float both arms to the ceiling. Nice long arms for me. And then you're going to bring them all the way back down. So broad through your shoulders, inhaling first, exhaling as you float your arms to the ceiling, and then bringing them down. We're going to do 2 more like that. Inhaling first, exhale to float those arms to the ceiling, and then bring them all the way down. Got 1 to go. Inhale first, exhale to float the arms to the ceiling, and then bring them down. We're going to move into a scissor pattern next. So we're going to bring both arms to the ceiling and pause. We're going to let one arm come further above our head, the other one comes down to our side, and then we're going to bring them back to the ceiling and change them over. So working with the range that's best for your arms and your shoulders, particularly your shoulders. Ribs are staying nice and still, so I want you to keep your ribs funneled down towards your pelvis. Nice and controlled through the back ribs and the front ribs. So as you're taking your arm backwards, try not to let your ribs lift off of your roller. And your front ribs are staying nice and still. And your breath pattern is helping your movement. We're going to do 1 more in each direction. Inhale, exhale to change to the centre. And last one. When both arms get back to the ceiling, I want you to pause and I want you to lower your arms down by your side. So we're going to do some dead bugs on our rollers. You can either have your hands directly by your side, or if you want a bit of extra stability, take them a little bit wider out onto the floor and on your mat. Again, if you want to get off of your roller, just get off of your roller. Otherwise, hands down on the floor at the distance that's comfortable for you. Core is switched on, so you feel that belly button gently pulling back towards your spine. You're going to lead with your left leg. You're going to take a breath in, you're going to breathe out to float your left leg up to a 90-degree position, and then you're going to lower it down. You're going to change to your right leg. Float your right leg up to 90 degrees, bring it back down. So you're going to alternate sides. As you lift your leg, you're trying to keep your body as still as you can. As you lift your leg, particularly that pelvis of yours is not moving. The movement comes from the hip joint, and the rest of the body is stable and still. If you're finding it really easy, bring your hands further in by your side. Take the assistance of your arms balancing on the roller out of it slightly. It's not compulsory. Choose your range and what's best for your body today, keeping nice and relaxed through your head, neck and shoulders. We're going to do 1 more on each side. Inhale first, exhale, float the leg up, lower it all the way down, and last one, float the leg up, lower it down. Pause here, gently and carefully roll to one side. Now you're going to slide your foam roller out from underneath you, you're going to push it gently to the side of your mat, and then you're going to lie down on your back. You're going to enjoy that nice flat feeling that you feel lying on the mat after being up on the roller. You're going to bring your arms down by your side and you're going to turn your palms to the ceiling. Nice broad shoulders when we have palms to the ceiling. Feet are hip width distance apart. Feet are nice and straight. Feet are standing firmly on the mat. So you've got that even weight distribution from your big toe to your little toe and right toe to your heel. We're going to start with some pelvic tilts. We're going to take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we're going to gently tip the pelvis backwards and allow the spine to flatten into the mat. And then you're going to roll the pelvis forwards. You're going to allow the back to arch up off of the mat. And then you gently roll the pelvis backwards on an exhale breath. The spine will flatten into the mat. And then you're going to roll the pelvis forwards and the back arches. So as you're doing your little pelvic tilts gently forwards and backwards, As much as possible, you're keeping your knees nice and still. Try not to let them sway around. Your head's going to move, your chin will pop in towards your chest, your chin will pop up towards the ceiling. Let that happen, that's perfectly fine. But try to keep your knees and your feet perfectly still. I'm going to do one more each way. Gentle tilt back, spine flattens and imprints into the mat. Roll the pelvis forwards, let the back arch, and then rest in neutral. Moving from your wrists, I'm going to get you to swivel your palms down. I'm going to get you to gently engage your arms now into the mat. So if 100% is jamming it on, I want 10 to 15%. Gentle engagement of arms into the mat. We're not trying to fatigue any muscle groups quickly. Keeping those feet firm on the mat, we're going to go into some bridges. We're going to take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to gently tip the pelvis backwards. We're going to lift the hips and the back right up off of the mat and open up through the front of your hips. You're going to take a breath in there and you're going to breathe out to articulate down through each vertebrae in your spine. Hips are as stable as possible and allow your pelvis to roll through neutral. So inhale first, gentle tilt back, spine imprints. Up you go into that bridge and open up through the front of your hips. Pause there, take a breath in, and then slowly down. Try and lengthen your spine down bit by bit and allow the pelvis to roll through neutral. Let's think about our knees. Inhale first, exhale, tilt back, gently push your knees out towards your second toes. Pause there, take a breath in. Keep your knees there for as long as you can and help to lengthen through your spine as you peel back down onto the mat one by one. 2 to go. Inhale first, gentle tilt back, the spine imprints, and then up you come into that nice long strong bridge for that opening through your hips and your glutes engage at the top. Take a breath in and then breathe out to come all the way down, still thinking about those knees. And again, those feet of yours are still firm on the mat. Last one. Inhale first, gentle tilt back, spine flattens and imprints, opening the hips up into the bridge. Pause, breath in, knees are still, they're still in line with those toes, and down you come all the way. Roll the pelvis through neutral. Bring your left leg straight to the ceiling, interlace your hands behind the back of your leg and pull the leg in towards your chest. So as straight a leg as you can. You don't want to feel this in the back of your knee. You want to feel this in a stretch in the back of your thigh. You're going to hold here and you're going to breathe. I'm going to add a little neural floss. So I'm going to get you to pull your toes to your nose and point your toes to the ceiling. So toes to nose, toes to ceiling. If that bothers you greatly, just leave that out and focus on the hamstring stretch. Toes to nose, toes to the ceiling. 2 more each way. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Last one. Relax the foot. Place the foot back down onto the mat. Bring the right leg up to the ceiling. Interlace the hands. Pull the leg in towards your chest. Again, same thing. You want to feel that stretch in the back of your thigh. If it's in your knee, bend your knee slightly. Okay, we're going to add our neural. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. So you're flexing and pointing your foot. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Nice big deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. If it bothers you on this side, please leave it out. 2 more. Toes to nose, toes to ceiling. Last one. Bend your knee. Place your foot back down. Wriggle your knees and feet together so they're touching for me. Arms are back down by your side. Pelvis is still. I want you to imagine that I've got a spirit level and I've put that spirit level across your pelvis. It's sitting on your hip bones. You're going to keep the spirit level on the level. So we don't want any movement in your pelvis and no movement in our imaginary spirit level. Starting with your left leg. Take a breath in and breathe out to let your left leg go out towards the side without your imaginary spirit level moving. And then bring it back to the center. Alternating sides. Other leg gently goes out towards the side and slowly draw it in. As you alternate sides, your opposite knee is still. If your opposite knee's got a bit of a wobble in it, then your pelvis is probably moving. Use your breath to help you, exhaling as the leg goes out and inhaling as you're drawing it in. And as much as possible, we're aiming for really smooth movement. So the ball and socket joint in your hip smoothly rolls out and then it draws back in and we alternate sides. I'm going to do one more on each side, and then we're going to do some doubles. So left leg goes out towards the side, right leg is stable and still, there's no movement. Pull it back to the centre line. Got one more on the right. Allow the leg to glide out to the side. Pull it back in. Okay, both legs at the same time. Take a breath in, breathe out to allow both legs to draw out at the same time, and then pull them back to the centre line. As you're moving both legs, both travel at the same time and at the same pace, so one's not going quicker than the other. The movement is smooth and controlled, so nice and stable and smooth and controlled. Imagine there's a rubber band between your knees. It allows your knees to draw apart, and then it pulls them back together. We're going to do one more. Allow the knees to draw apart, nice and controlled. Pull them back together. Pause there. Drop both of your knees to the left-hand side of the mat. Let them drop right over. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. Hands can slide a little bit wider onto the floor if you want. Take some nice big deep breaths into the side of your body there, into the side of your ribs. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. We're going to do one more breath pattern here. You're going to squeeze your knees together. You're going to pull your legs through the centre of the mat, and you're going to drop them to the right hand side. Your gaze goes over the opposite shoulder. And again, a couple of nice big deep breaths here. Breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. One more breath. Pull the legs back to the centre and place your feet back into hip width distance apart. So a little gap again between those feet. Arms, I'm going to get you to bring your hands. I'm going to get you to interlace your hands behind your head. Your ring finger and your little finger on the base of your skull. Your elbows are nice and wide, broad and wide. We're going to go into some chest lifts. We're going to try and keep our elbows wide. I want you to imagine you're trying to touch your elbows on the opposite sides of the room. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to lift your head, neck and shoulders up for me. You're going to take your gaze down to the middle of your thighs, and then you're going to lower yourself all the way down. So inhale breath first. Exhale, lift head, neck and shoulders, gaze to the middle of your thighs, and then lower yourself all the way down. Those elbows of yours are nice and wide, still trying to touch the opposite sides of the room. As you come up, if you take your gaze to the middle of your thighs, that's going to help you get to the right height. It's going to lift your head, neck, and your shoulder blades up. You'll be looking to the middle of your thighs, and then lower all the way down. Where your eyes go, your body will go. So your eyes and your gaze is important. We've got 2 to go. Inhale first, exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift. Gaze to those thighs. Lower yourself all the way down. Got 1 to go. Inhale first, exhale, up you come. Lower all the way down. Pause there. Now you can keep your legs on the floor if you like, otherwise we're going to do 4 more with our legs in tabletop. So tummy muscles are switched on. Float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it there. Take a breath in, bring the second leg up to join it. Inhale first, exhale, lift it, head, neck and shoulders up, gaze to the middle of your thighs, and then lower yourself all the way down. Elbows wide, inhale first, exhale, up you come, breathe out to come up, lower yourself all the way down, you've got 2 to go. Inhale first, exhale to lift, and lower down. And last one, inhale first, exhale, head, neck and shoulders lift, and lower down. Pause here. Take your hands from behind your head, allow your knees to drop in towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins and a little roll around, a little massage of your lower back on the mat. So you're going to go in both directions, go the other way. So you feel that nice little massage on your lumbar spine, your very lower back. And then you're going to bring your feet back down, and you're going to bring your arms back down by your side. We're going to roll through single leg stretch and single straight leg stretch, one after the other. You can feel free, obviously, to rest at any point. The lower the leg that's lengthened and straight, the more challenging the exercise is. Don't feel you need to lower the leg very far for it to be challenging, and work within the range that's good for your body today. When your legs are up and your head's up, we want your spine imprinted. So if you can't keep your spine imprinted, just back the legs off a little bit. So first of all, float one leg to 90 degrees and hold it there. Take a breath in, second leg joins up. Hands come and rest on top of your knees. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift head, neck and shoulders up so you're looking down between your legs. Stretch one leg out long and straight, gently pull the other knee in towards your chest, and then inhale, exhale to change them over. So you're going to keep alternating sides. The lower that straight leg is, the more challenging the exercise will be. Your spine must stay imprinted. So if you feel that your back is starting to lift up off of the mat as you lower that leg, then you're not going to lower a leg as far. It could be pointing more towards the ceiling. Doesn't need to be down, hovering off of the mat. Work within the range that's best for your body. As you can, bring your knee in towards your chest. I want you to try and bring it in line with your shoulder. So try not to let it cross your midline. We're going to do one more on each side. Last one here. And then hold. The leg that you're holding onto, straighten to the ceiling and slide your legs up the back of your leg. And then inhale, exhale, scissor them over and change. So I want you to pull one leg in towards you, and I want you to stretch the other leg out as long as you can. Legs are long, legs are straight. Gaze is down between the middle of your thighs, shoulders are broad and wide. You're breathing in and you're breathing out. You're not holding your breath at all. Inhale, exhale to change them over. We're going to do two more on each side. Pull the leg in towards your chest. Lengthen the other one's way as far as you can. Again, doesn't need to be low to be challenging. You can choose your own range. Pause here, legs to the ceiling, bend your knees, lower your head, neck and shoulders down, slide your legs out along the mat, bring your arms right over the top of your head. Take yourself into a nice long full body stretch. So you're reaching from your fingers right down to your toes. Nice big deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and breathing out through your mouth. One more breath pattern. Then you're going to float your arms to the ceiling and you're going to bring them all the way down by your side. You're going to roll onto your side and you're going to prop yourself up on your elbow. So you've propped up on your elbow. You're going to grab your foam roller and you're going to slide it underneath your arm and your elbow. But you're not going to touch it. So it's a bit of feedback to make sure you don't drop. Don't need to do it, but it will give you a bit of feedback. Shoulder and elbow in one line, nice straight line, and you're lifted through your waist so you're not touching your roller. Legs, just bring them slightly in front, so as opposed to directly in line with your body, they're slightly in front, and your feet are flexed. Hands on your hip, you've pushed your hip away to create that space and that engagement underneath your waistline through your obliques. Hand can stay on your hip or it can come in front for some stability. And you can move. You start with it on your hip and then you prefer to put it on the mat. That's perfectly fine. Both feet are flexed. You're going to lift your top leg up off of your bottom leg and you're going to lower it down. So as you lift and lower that leg, you're going to get some feedback as to what's happening with your waistline. So you shouldn't feel yourself dropping down onto your roller. If you feel yourself dropping onto your roller, that's feedback that you've dropped down through your obliques. So keep them switched on. If you prefer to actually come down and cradle your head in on your arm and just not be propped up, that's perfectly fine. Nice big deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Not lifting too high. 2 to go. Lift and lower. And last one. Pause for a second. We're going to kick forwards and backwards. When we kick backwards, not too much range backwards. You don't want to go too far because your hips will tip backwards. Hand on the mat on the hip, you can choose. We're going to go flexed foot and pointed toe as we kick forwards and backwards. So if you lift your leg, have your foot flexed first, bring your leg forwards, point your toe, take your leg backwards. Inhale as you bring your leg forwards, exhale as you take your leg backwards. Forwards and backwards in a really long leg. You're trying to lengthen out your leg. Trying to scrape your toes on the opposite side of the wall. Again, you've still got your waistline lifted up off of the mat. And if you've got your roller there, that'll give a little bit of feedback. Nice long breaths, gliding forwards and gliding backwards. And do one more each way. Inhale forwards, exhale backwards. When you get to the center, lower your leg down to rest. Bring your feet forwards about 10 centimetres. So my feet are now off of the mat. Yours may or may not be off the mat, but they've come forwards about 10 centimetres. Lift your top leg up. Keep your bottom leg where it is. Take your top leg back as far as you can. Point your toes and draw me some circles back there. So for nice round circles, we've got length in our leg. Our waistline is lifted up off of the mat. And we're breathing nice big deep breaths. Let's reverse the direction. Go the other way. Body still, torso's still lifted up off of that foam roller if you've still got it there, giving you that feedback. 2 more circles. Bring your leg forwards and lower it all the way down. Flip yourself to the opposite end of the mat. If you want to use your roller on the opposite side, bring it with you. If you don't, that's cool, don't need to. Come down on your elbow. If you prefer to have your self right down and have your arm bent, that's perfectly fine. Make sure your elbow's underneath your shoulder. Roller tucked in there if that's what you want to have some feedback. Feet just slightly in front, not too far to begin with. Both feet are flexed. Hands on your hip, you've pushed it away. Hand can come in front if you like, or stay on your hip. Looking across your room in front of you, you're going to lift your top leg up off of your bottom leg and you're going to lower it down. Again, your roller's there to give you a bit of feedback. As you lift your leg, you don't want to feel your waistline dropping down into the mat. If you feel your waistline starting to drop, and this side may well be different to the other side, then just don't lift your leg so far. So work within the range that you're able to control the stability in your torso. Nice big deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. Breath is always designed to assist you to move. 2 to go, lift, lower, last one. Okay, we're going to move to kicking forwards and backwards. So if you lift your leg again, we've got the flex foot on the way forwards. We're going to point the toe on the way backwards. We're going to inhale on the way forwards. We're going to exhale on the way backwards. As we're gliding forwards and backwards, keeping our torso as still as we can. Kicks don't need to be big. Work within the range that you're able to control the movement in your torso. Nice big deep breaths, still cleared off of the roller. 2 to go, glide forwards, glide backwards. Last one. When you get to the center, lower the leg down and rest. Take both feet forwards about another 10 centimeters. Keep your bottom foot where it is. Lift your top leg up and take it backwards as far as you can. Point your toes and then circles. Nice round circles. Your front foot should stay still. So you're trying not to let it lift up off of the mat. Nice big deep breaths. Let's change the direction. Go the other way. You've got length in your leg. Nice and controlled through your torso. Having a rest if you want to have a rest. Bottom foot's not moving. Last circle here. Bring the leg forwards and lower it all the way down. You're going to roll out your glutes using your roller. So, if you bring yourself to come up and sit on top of your roller, I'm going to do it on a sideways view so you can see what I'm talking about. So perch yourself up on your roller, then prop yourself up with your hands. If you prefer to use your knuckles, you use your knuckles. And then lift one butt cheek up and just roll through the outside edge of your glutes. If you had a Franklin ball, you could do the same thing with your Franklin ball. Otherwise, if you've got your roller handy still, just roll through the outside of your glutes. Could use a spiky. Pretty intense to use a spiky. Don't need to use a spiky, but you could use a spiky. Change sides. So I'm just going to distribute the weight to the opposite side of my body and then roll through the outside of my hip on my roller. Nice big deep breaths. Try not to hold your breath. If your wrists are a bit grumpy, watch them. You could be more on your knuckles, if that's better. That will be fine. If you find a spot and you just want to hang on to that spot and try and relax the muscle groups, then feel free to do that too. Otherwise, just nice little gentle massage through. Okay, we'll do one more each way. And then we're going to get rid of our roller. We're going to slide it out to the side. Just drop it out to the side somewhere that's safe, not too far away. And then we're going to come down on our stomachs for some prone work. So we come right down. We're going to do some pre-swimming and some swimming. So if shoulders are grumpy, then you could just do one arm. If shoulders are grumpy, then you could just leave your arms out of it and just hold 5 while we go to our legs. Otherwise, slide your arms out along the floor in front of you. You can have your arms directly by your ears or your arms a little bit wider, so more of a V-shaped, I suppose. Head's resting or hovering on your mat, you can choose. Shoulders are drawn away from your ears. Tummy muscles are switched on, so you feel like your belly button is lifting up off of the mat. Our focus here is length, not height. So I don't want you to lift too high that you feel that your chest and your body starts to lift off of the mat. If you think of length instead of height, you'll be on the money. So let's start with our left arm. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to breathe out to lift our left arm off of the mat. Make it as long as you can, and then lower it down. Changing sides. Exhale to lift the right arm off of the mat and lower it down. So you're going to alternate arms. Your arm is long. You're trying to reach across the room. You're not lifting too high that you feel your chest and your torso starting to move around. We're literally trying to use the limb and not the rest of the body. One more on each side. Then we're going to go to legs. So you're going to leave your hands on the floor. If it is more comfortable, you could put your hands under your forehead for a moment, otherwise keep them in that nice V shape. Before you lift your leg, think about how your pelvis feels on the mat. Your two hip bones are touching the mat. I want you to keep it that way. Now, left leg first. Take a breath in and breathe out to lift your left leg up. Make it as long as you can. Point your toes away from you and then lower the leg down. Change sides. Lift your right leg up. Stretch it out as long as you can and lower it down. Alternate sides in your own time. And as you're lifting your leg, you're not lifting too high that you feel your pelvic bone and your hip starting to leave the mat. So your knee, part of your thigh lifts up off of the mat, but not your hip bones. You should feel an engagement through the back of your legs. In a perfect world, your calf, hamstring, and glute are switching on. You might feel that muscle group, particularly the glute, a little bit more stronger in one leg than the other. One more on each side. Lift and lower, and last one. Okay, we're going to go opposite arm and leg. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift opposite arm and leg at the same time, and then lower them down. Changing sides, exhale to lift and lower. So we're just patterning the body and the brain. We're still keeping all the same rules. Torso stable, pelvic bones stay connected to the mat. One more on each side. Last one here. Pause for a second and rest. We're going to go into full swimming. If you prefer, you could just keep working with your legs or just your arms or opposite arm and leg. Otherwise, come with me, we'll do full swimming. Again, we're thinking of length in our body. We're trying to lengthen ourselves out as opposed to lifting too high. We don't want it to jam and get uncomfortable and tight in your lower back. So abdominals are switched on. You feel how your belly button feels like it's lifted up off of the mat. Going to take a breath in. You're going to breathe out to lift both arms, both legs, and your forehead off the mat. And then you're going to swim. So you're kicking your arms and legs, just like you're swimming in a pool. Arms are long, legs are long. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Pause here, and then lower everything all the way down. We're going to do 2 more sets of these. You could drop back to the other levels if you prefer, or even just drop into a little child's pose. You could just do your arms or just your legs. Always come with me. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift into your swimming, and away you go. So we're kicking our arms and legs. We have length in our limbs. They are really long. We're breathing in through our nose, still and out through our mouth. We're not holding our breath at all. Then we're going to pause, and we're going to lower everything all the way down. We're going to do 1 more set. Tummy muscles switched on. Take a breath in, breathe out to lift, and away you go. Swim. Keep the length in the limbs. Keep the breath pattern going. Keep the tummy muscles switched on. Focus on length. Nice and controlled through that torso. Pause and lower down. Let's go back into a little child's pose stretch. So we're going to take our hips back towards our heels. We're going to have our arms in front. If you prefer your arms down by your side when you do child's pose, feel free to put your arms down by your side. You're sinking your hips back towards your heels. Got a little gap between your knees if you like. Your shoulders are nice and relaxed. Try not to let those shoulders come up above your ears too much. And you're breathing nice big deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. 1 more breath pattern here. And you come back down onto your stomach for me. And this time we're going to prop ourselves up on our elbows. So we've got one hand resting on top of the other. Got a little lift through your hips. So as opposed to hanging out watching telly, we've got our abdominals switched on and that little lift. We're looking about a hand pace and a half in front of where our hands are resting. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. So as opposed to 2 Lifted through your upper traps, shoulders are drawn down, back and down. When you do your single leg kick today, I want you to make sure that your knee comes just off of the mat. So bend one knee, flex the foot, lift the knee just off of the mat and pulse the foot to the bottom twice. Lengthen the leg out long, the knee is still lifted, and lower it down. Change sides. Bend your knee, your foot flexes, you pulse your foot to your bottom, you lengthen the leg out long and lower it down. So you're going to alternate sides. Foot comes to bottom, pulse twice, lengthen the leg long and lower. That knee of yours is cleared up off of the mat. It's going to help you engage the right muscle groups. Now your body is still. Try not to let your body bounce around. We're looking for an exhale as we pulse. Inhale to lengthen and lower down. So breathe out to pulse your leg twice. Inhale to lengthen the leg and lower it down. And remember, try not to let your body move. Have a rest if you want to have a rest, and you're still trying to clear that knee up off of the mat. One more on each side. Lengthen, last one, out and down. With your left hand, reach back and grab your left foot. Being cautious of any knees that are a bit grumpy. Wriggle yourself down onto your stomach, swivel your arm around and rest your head on your forearm. Gently pull the sole of your foot towards your hips. A little lift of the knee up off of the mat if you can. Get that nice stretch through your quad, psoas, hip flexor muscles, driver muscles, whatever you want to call them. Big deep breaths, should feel good. If it bothers your knee, let go of your foot. And then lower that leg down. Now if you can reach back and grab the other foot, feel free to do so. Otherwise you can prop up on your elbows and then reach back and grab the other foot. And then swivel the arm down. Again, same thing. Gently bring the foot towards your backside. Little lift of the knee up off of the mat if you can. Should feel a nice stretch through the hip. We don't want that knee to swing out too far out to the side. Try to keep your knee in line with your hip bone. If it bothers your knee, just let go. Then gently let go and lower the leg all the way down. We're going to come up into quadruped. You've got some choices. You can do quadruped just on your hands on the mat, or you could do them on your roller. I'm going to do mine on my roller today. Feel free to just have your hands on the mat if you prefer. Still check your alignment. So got a little gap between my knees. My arms, when I put them on the roller, are going to be my hands are directly underneath my shoulders. So if you're on the mat, if that's where you choose to be today, then your hands are still directly underneath your shoulders. Gaze, it's about hand pace and a half, 2 hand paces in front. So not too far. Don't want to crane your neck. Just going to have a sip of water. A little gap between your knees. So you're in a nice, if your knees are too close together, you haven't got an even basis distribution of support. So you want that little gap between your knees. Right, arms. Slide one arm out in front of you and lift it up and then bring it down. Changing sides, slide the arm out, lift and down. So you're going to alternate sides. Try to breathe out as you take your arm out and breathe in as you bring it down. Keep your gaze down towards the end of the mat. Shoulders are nice and relaxed. Torso still. So whether your hands are on the roller or on the mat, again, you're trying to isolate the movement with your limbs. I'm going to do one more on each side. Out and down. And last one. Okay, hands staying on the mat or on the roller. Choose your first leg. Slide your toes out. Lift your leg up for me. Put your toes back to the mat and slide it underneath. Changing sides. Toes glide out and lift and bring them down. Now you're going to alternate sides in your own time. Focus on the stability in your torso when you bring your leg down as much as you are on the leg on the way out. So you're trying to move your limbs and keep your body stable. Breath will help you to do that. Inhaling and exhaling. Okay, I'm going to do one more. And then we're going to go into opposite arm and leg. Make sure that you're even for me. Then when you're ready, and if you prefer to stick with singles, feel free to stick with singles. Otherwise, take a breath in, breathe out to glide opposite arm and leg out with control, and then bring them down. Alternate sides. Inhale first, exhale, out you go. Bring them down. Same rules apply. Focus as much on taking the arms out and the leg out as you are bringing them down. So keep the stability as you return your limbs back down. Same rules apply whether your hands are on your roller or on the mat. We're going to do one more on each side. Glide them out and lift. Bring down. Last one for me. Inhale, exhale, and down. If your hands are on the roller, just drop your roller off to the mat to the side. We're going to do some cat stretches. So we're back on all fours. We're going to drop our head down between our arms and we're going to arch our back right up towards the ceiling and open up through our spine. Then we're going to bring our stomach down towards the mat and we're going to take our gaze across the room in front of us. We're going to repeat the first one. Head drops down between our arms, arching our back right up towards the ceiling and opening up through our spine, just like a cat would. Bring the tummy down towards the mat and the gaze across the room. We're going to do one more in each direction. Inhale first, exhale, head drops down between arms, arch the back right up towards the ceiling. And then last one, tummy comes down, gaze goes across the room. And then rest in neutral. We're going to go into a thread the needle stretch. So keep your left hand on the mat, pick your right hand up, put it behind your left hand with your palm to the ceiling. Then slide your arm through, bend your left elbow and bring your ear towards the mat. And breathe. Nice little rotational stretch here. Big deep breath, breathing in, breathing out. Okay, slide your hand back in. Place it back on the mat, lift your left hand up, palm to the ceiling, slide it through, bring your left ear down towards the mat and take some nice big deep breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. Slide the hand back, come and sit on your mat. Put your roller, if you've got it, at the end of your mat. So you're going to have, don't want you to have your feet touching it yet, but you're going to have it there so you can use it in a minute. You're going to spine stretch initially. So legs are hip width distance apart. If it's more comfortable for you to have your knees bent, then feel free to bend your knees. Legs are out nice and long. Hands are down by your side with your palms up. I prefer to teach spine stretch with palms up down by your side because I find sometimes we curl our shoulders forwards and lift our upper traps if our arms are out in front. So that's why I love to teach it with palms down by our side. There are variations of most Pilates exercises. Sitting tall, take a breath in, bring your chin to your chest, scoop your belly backwards, hold that scoop of your belly, and then slide your arms forwards, bringing your chin towards your knees. Take a breath in there, breathe out to come all the way back up, and you're going to sit up nice and tall and your shoulders are nice and relaxed. So inhale first, tucker the chin to the chest, round the spine backwards by scooping the belly, and then slide the hands forwards. Stretch out your spine. Slide the hands back, come and sit up nice and tall. Keep those shoulders nice and relaxed and away from your ears. Inhale first, chin to chest, round through your belly. Breathe out as you curl forwards for me. And then slowly come back up. We're going to do two more. If you're feeling a bit lightheaded, stay sitting up. Otherwise, breath in, tucker the chin to the chest, round through the spine. Exhale as you curl forwards. Pause there. Take a breath in and breathe out to come on back up. Shoulders are staying broad and wide. Last one. Inhale first, tucker the chin to the chest, round through that spine. Breathe out as you curl forwards. Now I want you to stay down here. Hold on to your calves. Maybe you can reach your ankles. Maybe you can possibly even reach the bottom of your feet today. And just hang here. Hold on to whatever you can. Take some big deep breaths into the back of your rib cage. Breathing in and breathing out. One more breath. Then let go of whatever it is you're holding on to and slowly come back up to the top. Wriggle your roller, or bring your roller to your feet or your feet to your roller, doesn't matter. But I want your feet touching your roller. Now they're touching the roller but not hanging on for dear life. We're going to go into twist and we're going to use our roller as feedback as to whether our legs are moving. A couple of arm positions to choose from. Arms straight out towards the side if you can. If it bothers you or starts to bother you, you can bring them across your chest. So sit tall, lift up through your rib cage, but drop your shoulders away from your ears. Choose your arm position, look across the room, and imagine I have got a black texture out, and I've drawn a line around the room that is at the height of your eyes that's currently looking. You're going to follow that imaginary line with your eyes. Let's go to the left first. Take a breath in, breathe out to twist towards the left, keeping your eyes on that imaginary horizontal line. And then you come back through the center, and you're going to twist towards the right. Inhale first, exhale to twist. So you're trying to breathe out as you twist. You're keeping your hands in line with your shoulders. So if your arms are out long, make sure you keep that nice straight line. Hands across your chest is fine as well. Feet are giving you feedback. Your feet shouldn't be moving. If you feel the roller moving, then your feet are moving. We're trying to disassociate the movement from the top part of the body to the bottom part of the body. So the bottom part is still and the top part is moving. We're going into rotation. We're trying to rotate our spine. Our body goes through lots of 3 different main movements, and then a combination of those 3 movements. And one of those movements in day-to-day life is rotation. Think of playing golf, think of playing cricket, think of playing tennis. Think of picking the washing up out of the washing machine and twisting as you put it in the basket. Think of taking the shopping out of the car. We go through rotation. One more in each direction. Inhale, exhale to twist, 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 twist. Through the center, last one to the other side. When you get back into the middle, bring your arms down, little roll of the shoulders. We're going to do 2 in each direction, roll the other way. And we're going to use our rollers for mermaid. If you haven't got a roller, it doesn't matter. Otherwise, leave your roller where it is. Bring yourself into a side Z sit. Tuck your left leg in front, your left leg behind, your right leg in front, and have your roller on your right hand side, okay? So left leg behind, right leg in front, hand on the roller. Looking across the room in front of you, again, you set up tall. You've get a space between your ribs and your pelvis. Left arm floats out towards the side with your palm up. Right hand resting on the roller. Take a breath in, breathe out to roll the roller away. Left arm comes to the ceiling, hip stays on the mat. Roll the roller back in and sit up nice and tall. We're going to do 4 like this, and we're going to add some rotation. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. If you don't have the roller, your hand is just resting on the mat. It's perfectly fine. Nice team, still sitting up nice and tall. Hips stay connected to the mat. Breathe out as you go over. Reach, 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 reach. Back you come. Lucky last. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. And back. Okay, we're going to add rotation. So we're staying with this side. We've got 4 of them. Breathe in, breathe out to go over. Take your left hand, send it underneath your armpit and rotate your torso forwards. De-rotate yourself, look back across the room to where you started and all the way back up to the top. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. Add your rotation, send the arm underneath, your gaze goes underneath your armpit. De-rotate yourself, look back across the room, watch the shoulders, stay away from your ears. You've got 1 more. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. Add your rotation, you're going to rotate under them, you're going to reach and reach and reach and reach. Come back to the center, look back across your room, come back up and rest for a second. If you're using your roller, pick it up, put it on the opposite side of the mat. Flick your legs around to the other side. Now, if it's uncomfortable, remember, always stretch one leg out, little lift through the hip. Either of those things are fine. You could sit yourself on a pillow. Left hand is now resting on your roller. You've sat up nice and tall. You've got that nice gap between your ribs and your pelvis. Your right arm is out to the side with your palm up. We're going for 4 without rotation and then 4 with rotation. Take a breath in, breathe out to go over. Your hips and your backside stay on the mat, so you're not going too far that you feel them starting to lift. As you roll, going over into your mermaid and rolling your roller away, if you're using the roller, it's breathing out for me. Watching that your shoulders don't creep up towards your ears. Still sitting up nice and tall. Reach, reach, reach with that right arm, and then back you come. We're going to do 1 more. We're going to add our rotation. Inhale, exhale, over you go. And back. Okay, moving into rotation. First thing to do is go over. This is lateral flexion. So there's your lateral flexion. Then your rotation. Hand comes through, reach, gaze underneath your armpit. Bring your arm back above your head and then all the way back up to the top. Sitting up nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. Add your rotation, rotate through, gaze underneath your armpit. Bring your arm back above your head and all the way back up to the top. Okay, we've got 2 to go. Inhale first, exhale, over you go. Add your rotation, rotate through and under. De-rotate yourself, look back across your room, back up to the top, lucky last. Inhale first, exhale over. Rotate through and under, gaze follows. De-rotate yourself, look across the room, back up to the top, and relax. We're going to get our rollers out of the way, so I'm just going to give my little shove out of the way. We're going to come lying down on our side. We're going to go into a set of book openings. So if you can wriggle yourself all the way down, knees are bent, feet are tucked in behind you so they're in line with your hips. Head's going to come down and it's going to rest on your arm. Your arm is bent. It could be straight if that's better for you, otherwise it's bent. Top arm comes out on the floor in front of you and your hand is just directly in line with your shoulders. So not too high, not too low. And try and keep that alignment, all right? Knees are gently squeezed together, hips are still. So imagine I've got a garden stake and I've stuck it down through your pelvis. And it's going to keep your pelvis from tipping backwards. Gaze is going to follow your hand. We're going to do 2 to the ceiling. You're going to take a breath in, breathe out to bring your arm to the ceiling, let your gaze follow your hand, and bring your hand back down to the floor. Going again, inhale first, exhale, arm comes to the ceiling, gaze follows the hand, and bring the hand back down to the floor. Okay, we're going to move into our rotation now. So arm comes to the ceiling, rotate further back, keep your knees, your feet and your hips still, lengthen your arm to the ceiling, make it really long, and bring it back to the floor. Breathing. Inhale first. 1 long exhale breath to go backwards if you can. If you run out of breath, you're going to take another breath. And then bring it all the way home. Remember our knees and our feet are stable and still. We can do 3 more. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Nice long arm, nice long breath. Hips are still. Bring your arm back to the ceiling and back to the floor. We've got 2 left and the last one will hang out there. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Nice long arm. Reach, reach, reach. Bring it back to the ceiling and back to the floor. Okay, the last one will hang out there. So we're going to go to the ceiling. We're going to go into rotation. We're going to go to the point that we found we cannot get any further before our knees and our hip moves. And then we're going to let them move. We're going to let our knees slide apart. We're going to see if we can drop our arm further back. Maybe you can get to the floor, maybe you can't. And once you're there, you're going to hang there. And take some nice big deep breaths. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. You're going to switch your tummy muscles on. You're going to squeeze your knees together. You're going to lengthen your arm to the ceiling. And you're going to bring it all the way back to the floor. We're going to flip you to the opposite end of your mat. And then do your other side. So crawl yourself down. Same position. Head's resting in on your arm. If you prefer your arm to be straight, you can make it straight. Otherwise, it's just your head and your arm is bent. Either way, still make sure your chin's up off of your chest. So you don't want to be curling forwards like you're ready to have a nap. Knees are bent, feet are tucked back behind you. Hands on the floor in front of you, hand and shoulder in one line. Knees are squeezed together. We're going to take a breath in. We're going to breathe out to bring our arm to the ceiling. We're going to let our gaze follow it. And then we're going to bring our arm back down to the floor. We're going to do 2 like this. Inhaling first. Exhale, arm comes to the ceiling. Gaze follows the hand. And then bring the hand back down to the floor. Okay, we're going to go into rotation. Arm comes to the ceiling. Rotating further back. Remember, the bottom part of our body is still. Lengthen your arm to the ceiling and bring it back to the floor. Use your breath. Inhale first, exhale, 1 long breath if you can. Going back as far as you can without your hips moving. Knees are squeezed together. Lengthen that long arm of yours to the ceiling and bring it all the way back to the floor. We can do 3 more. Bottom part of our bottom's not moving, the top part of our body is. Again, we're disassociating one part of our body to the other part. Nice long breaths are helping us to facilitate that movement. 2 to go. Inhale first, exhale, back you go. Lengthen through that arm. Nice and controlled. And then bring it all the way home. Okay, and our last one, we're going to hang out there. We're going to go to the point first where we feel that we can keep the stability in our hips and our knees and our feet. And then when we find that point, we're going to let our knees slide apart. You'll see if we can get our arm further to the ground. We're going to take nice big deep breaths. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. 2 more breaths, big deep breath in. Exhale out. Last one. Then tummy muscles are still switched on. Bring the arm to the ceiling and then bring it all the way home. Roll onto your back for me. Wriggle onto your back. Alright, knees are bent. Feet are currently hip width distance apart. Let's slide the left leg out long and straight. Bring the right leg up to tabletop. Put your left hand on the outside of your right knee. Gently pull your knee across your body. Slide your right arm out on the floor next to you. Keep your shoulder on the mat for me and gently engage your left hand onto your knee. So if you feel your shoulder starting to lift, you're going a bit too far. Nice big deep breaths. You should feel that stretch through your hip. Okay, bring the leg all the way back. Slide it out long and straight along the mat. Bring the left leg up to tabletop. Put the right hand on the outside of the knee. Pull the knee across the body. Left arm stays connected to the floor. Shoulder stays connected to the floor. Big deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out. Just gently keep engaging that knee into the hand into the knee. Keep increasing the stretch, but don't roll off of your mat. And then bring your leg back to tabletop. Bring your right leg to tabletop. Tuck your hands underneath your knees. Have your arms long and straight. We're going to do one assisted roll up. If you prefer to come up in a different manner, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, take a breath in. Breathe out as you bring your chin to your chest. You're going to gently push your feet away from you and you're going to roll yourself up. You're just going to sit. You're just going to sit for a minute and make sure you don't feel dizzy. And if you're feeling okay, you're going to come with me and we're going to come up to standing. If you're feeling a little dizzy, I want you to stay right where you are. Otherwise, up to standing. Stand with your feet hip width distance apart and let your arms come down by your side. Have your weight distribution in your feet as 60-40. So 60% is through the balls and the toes and the front of your foot, 40% is through your heels. So you feel a little bit like you're going to topple forwards. Arms are down by your side. Going to take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to gently bring your chin to your chest and you're going to roll forwards for me. Keeping your 60-40 weight distribution. It might feel like you're going to topple forwards, but you're not going to let yourself do so. You're going to pause, you're going to take a breath in, you're going to lead with your tailbone, you're going to keep your 60-40, and you're going to roll back up to the top, and you're going to stand up nice and tall. You're going to make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. You're going to make sure you don't feel lightheaded. Feeling okay? Breath in, tuck the chin to the chest. Long breath out all the way down for me. So you're trying for one long breath. If you don't get one long breath or you run out of air, you're going to breathe in and out again. That's perfectly fine. Pause at the bottom. Take a breath in. Lead with the tailbone. Tuck the tailbone under. Use your tummy muscles. Try to keep your hips still. Maintain your 60-40 weight distribution and come and stand up nice and tall. Again, make sure you don't feel dizzy. We're going to do 3 more. Inhale first. Tuck the chin to the chest. Nice long breath out as you go all the way down. When you get to the bottom, inhale. Lead with the tailbone, 60-40 through those feet. Slowly come back up, bit by bit. Stand tall, shoulders are nice and relaxed. You've got 2 to go. If you are feeling lightheaded at all, stay where you are. Chin to chest, down you go. So imagine each vertebrae in your spine. They're coming down one by one. Through your ribs, through your lower back. Arms are hanging. As you stack those vertebrae back up, each one in your lower back comes up one on top of the other. Each one of your ribs, those vertebrae through your rib cage, there's 12 of them. Shoulders above your
heels, stand nice and tall as you stack up through your neck. You've got one to go. So as you bring your chin to your chest, the vertebrae in your neck peel down one after the other. As you work down through your ribs, each 12 of those ribs, those vertebrae all moving, one after the other. They're all meant to move. Down through your lower back. Breathe out as you go all the way down. Pause at the bottom. Take a breath in. Back up through the lower back. That's your lumbar spine. Back up through your ribs. That's your thoracic spine. And then right up through your neck. That is your cervical spine. Stand tall. Rest. Come onto your tippy toes. Little lift through your heels. And slowly lower them down. Little lift up onto your tippy toes. And slowly lower. One more. Little lift up onto your tippy toes. And slowly lower. We're going to add the arms. Come onto your tippy toes. Take your arms out towards the side. Bring your arms right up towards the ceiling. Slowly lower your heels and return your arms to your side. Using your breath. Inhale first, exhale up you come onto your tippy toes, arms float to the side, arms come right up towards the ceiling, and then slowly lower. You're going to do one more. Inhale first, exhale, arms to the side, onto your tippy toes, reach sideways, reach to the ceiling, arms long and strong, heels return to the ground. You're going to relax. You're going to enjoy that class for 7 days. As per normal, use it for as much as you like. If you have any queries, concerns, requests, you know where to find me. Just drop me an email. I'll see you all soon. Bye now.